Welcome to the Communication University of China in Beijing, where some of the top TV anchors and reporters have graduated from here. In recent years, this university is attracting a lot of top international students from around the world as well. So before we get to talk to some of them here in my show, let's take a look at this beautiful campus. So welcome back. Joining us today is two international students studying at CUC. Have you guys participated in the 70th anniversary activities?
Yes, I have actually been working on it for a few months now. My newspaper in Pakistan is publishing a special edition celebrating and congratulating CUC for its 70th birthday.
What is it about? What was your involvement?
Well, I tried to get in touch with some of the former students, international students, who studied in CUC and went back to their countries, and they're still working in some China-related field, maybe China Railway, teaching Chinese. So I tried to get their congratulatory messages for CUC.
Nice. And any particular stories or any moments, any feelings that stand out for you?
I guess it's just very inspiring to see, normally you go abroad for studying, you come back and you just start a new life. Whereas if you come study in China, especially with my friends from CUC, they go back and they're kind of bonded with China forever. So that was really sweet. And they remember so much detail about CUC.
Very, very nice indeed. Well, happy belated birthday to CUC. So going to today's topic, of course, a month ago, Beijing experienced one of the most biggest diplomatic celebration and events in recent years. It's a forum on China-Africa Cooperation Summit, right? And 11 years ago, something very, very interesting happened. It was the first time that the 21st Century Maritime Silk Road was brought up, which is a part of the Belt and Road. So I know this is what you study, so I'm going to ask you after you, which is, tell me a little about what do you think about Belt and Road? What do people in Malaysia understand Belt and Road is?
Well, as a Malaysia youngster, I would say a Malaysia youth, I have been taught like the Belt and Road have been helping our country a lot, but then I don't know in particular like which project is from the Belt and Road, such as I did some research on the East Coast Rail Link, and I was...
It's still in process, it's still
yes,
building,
yes.
Right?
I was surprised that it was linked with the Belt and Road because I knew that helped us a lot, that is a very big progress, but I did not think that it was a part of the Belt and Road.
So infrastructure project is what a lot of people has impression on Belt and Road as well. Manu, can you expand a little bit more on that? Is that correct? Like, what do people in Pakistan understand Belt and Road is?
Mostly, I think that is what most people think in Pakistan and elsewhere, but actually Belt and Road has some other aspects as well. Infrastructure development is just one of them. There's also financial integration, also trade, people-to-people connectivity, and also policy communication.
There's a lot of Belt and Road scholarship.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so particular students from the developing country to have this academic exchange and research opportunities.
Which is why there are more than 30,000 Pakistani students that are studying in China. Yes.
It's quite an attractive place to study as well.
Yeah.
Go on.
And CPEC is actually one of the flagship projects of the Belt and Road. CPEC is the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, and it's quite a vibrant project. And people in Pakistan know more about CPEC than they would about Belt and Road. And it's brought a lot of job opportunities to Pakistan.
What does an economic corridor mean for the audience who don't understand that?
It's a word. It's actually a literal corridor,
okay.
But it's also a project under which we have different projects. It's like an umbrella of projects. So it's brought a lot of financial investment in Pakistan. It's opened up a lot of job opportunities, more than 300,000 jobs in Pakistan. It has helped Pakistan solve its energy crisis. We had a major problem with electricity. It's helped solve that. So it's brought a lot of positive development in Pakistan.
Okay, so Belt and Road is important, that's one thing, but why you are interested in Belt and Road, you specific?
Because as a journalist, I see and I have been seeing before I got into a professional field that there's a lot of misconception about Belt and Road, China, CPEC, all of these things. So I feel like to mitigate these preconceived wrong notions, it's important for media and communication to play its role in clearing out the negative Western propaganda and narrative.
Before we dive a little bit deeper, like from a Malaysian perspective, like how is Belt and Road covered, and then and how people understand Belt and Road?
Well, we are really grateful that Belt and Road is including Malaysia because in Malaysia, because we are a developing country, so with the help, we are progressing faster than we thought. So we are, I believe most of us are very supportive on this project.
Manu just now talked about how the West covers certain project is sometimes very, very different to what local medias or Chinese media cover it. Is it similar situation in Malaysia? Is there more authority from the Western, do people sort of pay more attention to Western media?
I wouldn't say so because we have almost 30% of Chinese in Malaysia, so most of us actually pays more attention on Chinese papers. And we, of course, we take information from both English and China medias. So this is, I believe majority of us have our own perspective, our own opinions on this, but mostly supportive, I would say.
So of course, understanding there is a challenge is one thing, but how to resolve it is another thing. So that's what you do research on. So what are some of the approaches to sort of tackle that issue and challenge?
Just some of the things that we must do and we have been doing is kind of clarifying some misconceptions. For example, in the past few years, there was a massive smear campaign against CPEC and Belt and Road in Pakistan by the Western media, which kind of was hinting at the superinflation in Pakistan is due to CPEC and China. And China's robbing Pakistan, it's colonizing Pakistan, because we are going through some of the worst inflation in history. But the fact is that 21% of Pakistan's international loan is owed to China. The rest of it owed to different countries. So many people do not know that.
So they kind of they pick one thing which is factual, but they kind of blow it up. So they kind of
the buzzwords and this is the problem, let's blame China for this, let's blame CPEC for this. So I guess to fight these, we make some documentaries, we make some news articles, social media campaigns to kind of fight these negative.
Well, what do you think are some of the more effective ways to tell stories? Because infrastructure is quite a hard topic as opposed to the softer sort of profiling or different people's story. How would you approach communication from that perspective?
I think in this day and age, it's obviously increasing people-to-people bond. More people should be encouraged to travel to the Belt and Road countries, which is already happening since last month. Pakistan has announced that it's visa-free for all Chinese nationals. So this would be really good for our interpersonal connectivity. Also social media campaigns. And
I visited Pakistan quite a few times. I was in Karachi, Islamabad a few times as well. It's a wonderful country. But yes.
So I wish more people would be able to travel to Belt and Road countries and be able to see that.
So traveling is one of the ways. What other ideas you might have to sort of tackle some of the challenges of misperception, misunderstanding as well?
Well, that is why I'm studying in bilingual broadcasting. Right,
that's important, right?
Yeah.
Like studying, being able to look at a certain thing from different perspective through different languages as well. Because I think a lot of times people hear bilingual broadcasting is almost like translation, but it's not quite that. Can you expand on it?
It's not only translation. We have to tell people things, information in ways that they understand. And me as a Malaysian youth, such as just now what Manu said, we have to break those false information by spreading the truth, and studying bilingual broadcasting helps me to do so because I can tell different places, people in different places, audiences from different places, what is going on and what is the truth.
That's very, very important. And any other ways?
I think what she's studying is one of the most important things in the coming years, because I think one of the reasons is that China and some other countries, they also need some kind of cultural influence in different countries. So for example,
what they call soft power, I think.
Soft power, exactly. Yes. So what I would really like is to see a lot of Chinese TV shows in Pakistan broadcasted with English or Urdu subtitles. Because that's kind of how you really get to know a country. You can do lots of cultural shows, this and that, but that's not really how you kind of make people understand from within what a country's culture is like. So these kind of things, I think, would play a very important role in the future.
So entertainment and arts are some of the avenue to be able to understand one's culture, right? That's very, very important. So of course, besides China-Pakistan economic corridor and the Belt and Road, having been September and October 11 years ago. Of course, this year is also very, very special for Malaysia. It's the 50th anniversary of establishing diplomatic relationship between China and Malaysia. How have you seen such big events being covered in Malaysia or in China? And in both languages as well.
In both languages. Well, I did see a lot of celebrations during the anniversary, because I was surprised that in Beijing, for our embassy, we did a dinner celebration for everyone, like Chinese and Malaysians, to celebrate together our anniversary. And during the period, I went back to Malaysia, and I was surprised to see that in Malaysia shopping malls, we do have some exhibitions telling the stories and the process of the diplomatic relationship of China and Malaysia.
So, we've been talking about some of the bigger stories, right? Belt and Road is a very, very big project. Establishing diplomatic relationship is a very, very big project as well. And when covering such big project, is there any approaches that is more effective in doing so? And any suggestions or any recommendation and thoughts?
I think one of my suggestions would be that maybe when we're covering them, because they're for the wider audience, we should stick to layman terms, and we should avoid using words like infrastructure and more technical words. And Belt and Road is a very good initiative. It's good for both countries. It's bringing a lot of benefit to these countries. So maybe focus on the good that it's bringing, instead of using more technical terms and making it because now the target is the youth. The youth is not going to find railroads and these terms and statistics interesting.
What would be the youth? Because you mentioned very, very important things. Of course, youth is the future. Infrastructure project usually take a very, very long time, so it's important to engage youth. So what is the youth angle when you're covering certain news such as this?
My angle?
Yeah, like youth angle. Like how do you attract youth?
First angle is to kind of clarify China's image, because when I first moved here and on my social media I'd post videos of China, my friends would be so surprised. They couldn't believe China was so modern. So I guess first is to, like I said, people-to-people connection, and also the soft power, just more Chinese, because I watch Chinese TV shows and I can see what China's like. So maybe, these things just kind of tell them what China now looks like as compared to what China is in their
So basically just seeing what you see and hear,
exactly,
and sometimes it's a very, very ordinary, approachable ways for people.
And for that, social media is your best friend.
Mm-hmm. So for you, and any thoughts on this?
I agree very, very much with Manu, because a lot of people still think that China is very uncultured. Like, people just spit all around, and then they don't have doors for toilets. They don't have. They just pee, and they just do.
So it's very outdated image, or image that exaggerated, particularly in the negative.
Yeah, negative images.
Yeah.
But I think that social media is a very, very important thing. Like, for example, in Malaysia, a lot of youth use TikTok, like Chinese TikTok, and we can see a lot of cultural things on the internet. We can see some people, they are trying to approach the ancient, the old cultures last time, such as those kind of crafting and things. So I think that that's a good way for youth, international youth, to approach China.
So you mentioned a very, very interesting topic, social media. So I want to wrap up by talking a little bit about some of the opportunities or challenges that we experience in the area of social media or digital technologies. What do you think are some of, you mentioned a little bit, right, about, because of social media, obviously people consume information in slightly differently. And any other sort of challenges or opportunities that you see?
Challenges and opportunities. I think like the biggest challenge is how to balance the percentage of how you accept other people or other countries or respect people's culture and learn new and good things, and also standing on your country and standing on your own culture.
So empathy is very, very important,
Yes,
particularly in
yes.
social media. Being respectful, but also offering your own perspective
Yes,
at the same time. And like when I mentioned, you mentioned social media quite a few times as well. What are some of the because you work in the Daily Mail Pakistan, which is a print media. What are some of the challenges, for example, for such media organization?
Some of the challenges are, especially during COVID, when we were speaking out with China a lot, we would get attacked a lot. Our website would get banned, it's getting blocked all the time. Even then, we are blamed and painted as China spokesperson. We're being funded by China for this and that. So of course, we do suffer a lot of backlash for supporting China. But at the same time, this also makes us a very credible source of information when it comes to China. So that are the challenges, but with time we've gotten better at dealing with this.
So one of the characteristics, as you mentioned, with social media is that it has feedbacks.
Yeah.
It's two-way communication, and sometimes they're well-meaned and sometimes they're not.
And when they're not, you can identify the problem, and then in your head as a media organization that okay, this is what people are thinking. Now this is what we need to clarify next week or next month. So then you also identify the problems.
So as you look towards the future and aspiring media professions, what is the most exciting things for you? We talk about a lot of things, the Belt and Road Initiative, diplomatic events, and the era that we live in. What are some of the things that you're most excited about that will make you say, yes, I made it in the media professional?
I'm just really excited, and I'm looking forward to being like a bridge between Pakistan and China and the other Belt and Road countries. And once, I feel like if I go to a random person in Botswana and I can ask them 5 questions about China and they know, I'll feel like I played my role.
And partly because they know it's because of some of the reporting and stuff that you do.
And my colleagues did.
Yes, amazing. And for you?
What I want to do is I hope that I could, just like Manu, be a bridge between Malaysia and China and also to the world, and to tell people how Malaysia is, how China is, and how the Belt and Road is.
Well, for that, I wish you both the very, very best of luck in doing that as well. We do live in the times with a lot of changes and challenges. So for the next episode of the Power of Youth Plus, we'll dive much deeper into some of the challenges and opportunity in the era that we live in, digital technologies and AI. Until next time, I look forward to seeing you in the next episode back in the Communication University of China. Goodbye for now. Thank you so much.